Good afternoon, people of Southport. Does anybody recognise this particular gentleman here? Anybody recognise? Yeah, who is it?
I don't know his name, but he's looking up.
He is he's an actor 'cause he's been in a few films for sure. He's also a comedian. Do you know who that guy is? You recognise him? Who is it?
Yeah.
Who is it?
Hey,
Who is it?
I'm shit with names, I know who it is, yeah.
You did see it's on the tip of your tongue, isn't it? You stick around.
Ricky Gervais.
There you go, Ricky Gervais. Now, what would you say Ricky Gervais's kind of persuasion? Would you say? Would you say he's an atheist? Would you say he's a believer in God? What would you say?
I'd say Ricky.
You say he's an atheist. You're absolutely right. But you know what? I'm a Christian, so I'm a theist, the opposite of an atheist. Well, me and Ricky here totally agree on one thing. Would you like to know what we agree on? Come in a little bit. It's only 2 minutes to talk. Maybe 2 minutes. You've got plenty of time to place a bet at the Grand National. Don't worry about that. And the thing that we agree on is this. We think that free speech is important. We think it's important to tell people occasionally how we feel and to perhaps say, to disagree with people. Because we're living in a world at the moment where everyone has to agree with the same things. Everyone says, oh, it's this way, it's that way. We've all got to agree with the same thing. And if you disagree with what the majority think or what the mainstream media think, then you get cancelled. You've heard of cancel culture, haven't you, yeah? Have you heard of cancel culture? So many people just get cancelled and you don't hear about. They don't get any jobs anymore, they get fired and all the rest of it. You never see them again on the TV because they've been cancelled because they said something that's upset people's feelings. Now, me and Ricky both agree on this. People say you shouldn't hurt people's feelings. Ricky said you can if their feelings are wrong. And how many people do you know that they think something wrong, all right? But, they need to be put right about it. I know that it's an actual thing this, that you can actually think that you've been born without an arm, all right? You think that you're born that you shouldn't have an arm, and people actually chop off their arms who feel that they're not supposed to have an arm. They take their arm off, and they want it taken off. Now, if you went to a doctor and said, right, I feel like I'm not supposed to have an arm, can you remove it, often the doctors say, no, that's crazy, we're not doing that, all right? But this is the kind of world that we're living in at the moment, that people think, right, because I identify this way, or I think I'm this, I'm that, the other, I want to change something about myself, yeah? Now, let's say that I think that the only way to heaven is through the Lord Jesus, yeah? Now, let's say that you think anybody can get to heaven, okay? Now, if I started talking about Jesus to you, and you were offended by that, is that a problem? Should I stop talking about Jesus, right? What about if you had a particular problem that needed dealing with? Say you went to the doctors, yeah? And you might feel perfectly okay. But the doctor says, I've looked at your scans, and I can see from your scans that you are not fine. You might feel fine, but I can tell from your scans that you're not fine. There's an issue here, all right, and it needs dealing with. But, and this is what he's thinking in his head, he's thinking, if I tell this person that they've got an issue, and if it doesn't get dealt with, they're going to die, and there's a chance that they may die anyway, that's going to really upset their feelings. It's going to really ruin their day. It's going to ruin their lives, potentially. Should I tell them? Oh, well, I like them to carry on in their ignorance and feel okay, so I just won't tell them. Now, would that be a good doctor who did that? Would that be a good doctor? What do you reckon? It wouldn't, would it? That'd be a bad doctor. If he knew there's a problem, but he thought, I don't want to upset that person's feelings, so I'm not going to say it. Now, when I talk to people about heaven and hell, and say there's two real places, either heaven or hell, all right? I upset people's feelings because people don't want to hear about hell. I say as a Hell's Angels goes past on his Harley Davidson. People don't want to hear about hell. And talking about it upsets people's feelings. It'd be a lot easier for me to just stay at home, watch the Grand National, and not tell the people of Southport that there's a heaven and there's a hell. Just go about your business. But the problem is, people's feelings that, oh yeah, you just, that's it, when you die, you just go in the ground, there's nothing. Those feelings are, well, I don't think they're very comforting anyway, but they're wrong, those feelings are wrong. So I'm going to risk upsetting people's feelings today by pointing out that there is a heaven and there is a hell, okay? And, your feelings about these matters, that there isn't any afterlife and just that's it, you're in the ground and that's that, are wrong. All right, so I'm going to risk upsetting your feelings about that, okay? But I'm doing it because I love you, all right? And I want everyone to end up in heaven, okay? The reality is there is a heaven, there is a hell. Would you like to know how to get there? Who would like to know how you get to heaven? Because I'm saying there's two destinations and we're all going to either end up in heaven or we're going to end up in hell. There is no in between. There's no purgatory. There's no nothingness in the ground. There is literally two places that you will go to and you will be conscious in those two places forever and ever and ever. And I'm sorry if it upsets your feelings, but I have to say it. I agree with Ricky here and say, do you know what? We have to upset people's feelings if their feelings are wrong. Okay? And this is the truth of the matter. There is only two places, heaven and hell. And there's also only one way to get to heaven. And it isn't by being good. Everyone thinks that as long as I'm good, I'll be fine. But just do enough good works. If the amount of good works outweighs the bad works, I'll get to heaven. That's not how it works, friends. Because you cannot be perfect. And heaven is a perfect place. The only way to get to heaven is to be absolutely perfect. And we can't be perfect. But you know what? One man was perfect. One person came and lived on this earth as a human being and he was perfect throughout his life. And that's really important because it meant that he could give his life up for us. So he died in place of us. And he could take on board all the wrong things that we've done and pay for them so that we can get to heaven. And you know, all you have to do to get to heaven is to put your trust in that one man. And his name is Jesus. And he's the name above any name, above every name, and he's the only name that saves. Okay, when you put your trust in Jesus, you can be forgiven and you can get to heaven. And that is the truth of the matter. Okay? Now I've got some John's Gospels here. And if anybody would like a John's Gospel, alright, if anybody disagrees with me on anything, please pull me up, have a chat. I will not get offended by anything you say or your opinions, I won't. But please do come and have a chat to me and I'll give you John's Gospel and we could chat away about it together. And hopefully you'll find the truth that I found. And truth also has a name, and it's that name by which men can be saved, and his name is Jesus. Thank you for listening. Please do take a John's Gospel off me. Thank you very much.